The question is, Lynn, as I see it, the Democratic Party is on a path of self-destruction, and I can say that there probably is nothing that more people seem to agree with. He says, if the Democratic Party sticks with President Obama, it's finished. However, if Obama is impeached, it seems to me that there are two alternative paths, both of which are bad for the nation. Either the Democrats will be forced to defend him, which would be disastrous, or his impeachment will lead to a further implosion of the Democratic Party. Is it possible that your call for impeachment and Keisha's victory in Texas based on that call could lead to a purge of the Chicago boys, including the economic team around Obama, which is more of the same free trade crowd, more globalization, et cetera, and actually avoid the national trauma of impeachment? Go ahead, Len.
The national trauma of impeachment I welcome. It's a moment of joy, of liberation. You see, the question itself is posed on an assumption. The assumption about popular opinion and Democratic and so forth parties. I don't give a damn about the Democratic Party as such. I'm an American. And my view is political parties should be instruments which further the kinds of discussion and debate and so forth which are necessary to foster the process of deliberation. Arguments are useful. Tough arguments are useful. You want to get at the truth. You cannot be intimidated by the fear that somebody's going to take offense because you told the truth. You have to say, look, this is the truth. Come on. But you don't like it. You say you dislike it. That's your prejudice. And you have a right to your prejudice. It's like saying you have a right to insanity. Because it's arbitrary. You have to rise to always criticizing yourself. Now, the way to criticize yourself in politics is to look at the parties from the standpoint of the nation. Your interest is not the party. Your interest is the nation. I demand you choose. Which? Are you for your nation? Is that your loyalty? Or is it to the party? If your criteria is to go to your party first, you're not a patriot. And that's what's been the problem in the function of the Congress and in the parties. The party should be a vehicle for the expression of a matured view of issues. And a way, an instrument of education. But the objective is the body politic. Look, we have a situation where the Congress has no relationship of accountability to the people of the United States. 63% of the population at a minimum despises the Congress, despises the political parties. Democrats are running around, but they're not calling themselves Democrats, but independents, en masse. So party loyalty is worth nothing at this point. Decency about party relations is one thing, but party loyalty as higher than the commitment to the nation is treason. Because if you put the party above the nation, you are going to commit treason. You will betray the nation for the sake of the party. You will condition your choices to the condition for the party, not for the nation. Well, I'm a good American, but I'm a Republican. First of all, nobody knows what a Republican is anymore, and nobody knows what a Democrat is anymore. It's been very difficult to get a definition of either. No, you have to start from what is good for the nation, and partisanship must be in the process of the dialogue which is trying to bring about that which is good for the nation and for the choice of mission of the nation in the world as a whole. The choice is reason. The party of reason. And the people will go to a party because they think that party is going to do something for the nation. The nation needs. And you'll support that party as long as it's doing that, because it's a mission orientation for the nation. It is not something against the nation or against the other parts of the nation, but it's for the nation. And you have people it's like medical care, arguments for people on the health of the patient, differences on the policy for the health of the patient. The health of the patient is what the purpose is, not the winning of that faction fight. And that's where our problem lies. We do not locate ourselves in the fact that we should be concerned, first of all, for humanity. We have tested and proven the conception that the United States Republic, in its constitutional form, is a uniquely superior form of government. Therefore, we operate on those principles of the American Revolution, which are a partisan view of the fate of humanity. And we're sticking to that, and because nobody has ever proven that wrong. Every time we have deviated from it, we've gone to hell. We are not going to betray our country anymore. Because we have, as a nation, our commitment is to humanity as a whole. That's our commitment. It used to be our characteristic. The Americans could be trusted to do something for the people. Our immigration policy of the late 19th century and the 20th century, early 20th century was that. We were for the people of the world. Come here, come here. And that was our motive. And that was right. It was also our motive to use that fact of the cultures which were represented by people coming here to enrich our own culture here, which we did. That was right. We said, okay, but nonetheless, the people want to stay there or there, can't stay there. Fine. They should make their own decisions. But what is common between us is this commitment. We are going to discuss and debate for what's good for humanity. In the meanwhile, we're running our own country according to our own standards, but we're going to consider what is good for humanity. And the dialogue will be based on that. There is no substitute for the sovereign nation state and the role of culture as defining a sovereign nation state. That's actually sacrosanct. But the cooperation among nation states, the understanding of the interpretation of differences in practice, policy, that's there. But we have an American policy, but our commitment is to humanity. And we don't want our nation ever to do what's not right for humanity. And this is given to us by this question of the space program. Mankind must, for many reasons, which are too numerous to be elaborated here on this occasion, mankind is committed implicitly toward developing an industrialization of the moon, which is indispensable with the aid of fusion with power to actually colonize Mars. There are an immense number of problems to be faced in trying this, many unsolved, and many incorrect observations and beliefs to be removed. But we know it can be done. We know that mankind is not going to sit on this planet Earth like a sitting duck waiting for some solar catastrophe to wipe the human species out. We're going to move. We're going to extend the human species. We're going to extend its reach. Maybe we're going to find some humans out there someplace. But we're going to extend this. We're going to get the power through relativistic flight to be able to transport ourselves throughout this galaxy. It'll take some time. We're not going to do that in my lifetime, I assure you that. But we're going to do that because that's going to be our intention. Our intention is the role of humanity in the universe at large. We're going to get the power to do that. In the meantime, we're going to do all the other things that go with that. But if we don't have that mission, that's why it's important to get beyond this positivist disease and get into this concept of cosmic radiation. Because we know that the nature of mankind itself, the human mind itself, indicates that the present ideas of the organization of the universe axiomatically are wrong. We don't know what cosmic radiation really means yet. We know some things about it. We know that it means a correction against the dirty, ditty-gritty thing that we have now in terms of positivist conception, reductionist science. So we're going to do that. We're going to discover where we're wrong. We're going to discover new principles. We're going to get new powers. We're going to find out how to maintain humanity in an environment we know, such as Mars, which is not really habitable by human beings by our standards today, which means we're going to have to create an artificial environment for human beings in those places. We're going to have a similar problem to be faced on the industrialization of the moon. But we know we're on the verge of breakthroughs which will enable us to begin to discuss these problems. And as long as we're able to discuss these problems scientifically, we're going to be able to solve them. Besides, the important thing is we can live today, and we have a better health system than Obama would allow us to have. We can have people living to 100 years and longer. We can actually prevent the deterioration in old age, which is going on now. That's intrinsically, in principle, possible. So therefore, you're talking about nearly a century of human life for each individual. And what can happen in a century of human life? Let's take the best periods of scientific progress and known experience. What can happen in a century of human life? The foundations of a revolutionary change in the condition of humanity can be achieved. And that's the way to look at it. There's no limit to what mankind can do. That's what a human being is. And that's a principle. So we just have to do it.